Hi, welcome to English Hamster. Are you learning English? Great. Here we learn through stories. They are simple and interesting. You can improve English while learning knowledge. Remember to subscribe, like and comment. Let's get started.
Hello, everyone. I want to tell you a story about how I learned to speak English well. If you understand English but find it hard to speak, then this story is for you. I know how it feels when you want to talk, but the words don't come out. You feel nervous, afraid of making mistakes. I used to feel the same way. But now, I can speak English with confidence. Let me share my journey with you. My name is Daniel. I am 21 years old and I live in a small town. For a long time, I wanted to speak English fluently. I liked reading books and writing in English, but speaking was hard for me. Every time I tried to speak, I felt shy. My voice became quiet and I forgot the words. I always thought I needed more grammar lessons or vocabulary before I could talk, but that was not true. One day, I watched a video of a man named Mr. Lee. He said something very simple but powerful. If you want to speak English, you have to speak English. At first, I thought it was funny. Of course, I wanted to speak English. But then I understood what he meant. I was waiting for the perfect time, for the right moment to start. But that moment never came. I realized that I didn't need a teacher, a classroom, or perfect grammar. I just needed to begin. That day, everything changed for me. I stood in front of my mirror and began to speak. I didn't know what to say, so I just talked about my day. Today, I woke up early. I ate breakfast. I went to school. My sentences were very simple, but I didn't stop. I spoke for 5 minutes. At first, I felt a little silly. I laughed at myself. But the next day, I did it again. And the day after that. Soon, I got used to hearing my voice in English. After 1 week, I felt different. English didn't feel strange anymore. I wasn't scared to speak to myself, so I decided to take the next step. I started thinking in English. This helped me a lot. Before, I always thought in my native language first, then tried to translate. That took time and made speaking slow. But now, I tried to think in English directly. If I saw a bird, I didn't think, that is a bird in my language. I just said in my mind, that's a bird. It was hard at first, but after a few days, it became easier. My brain started to work in English. I didn't translate anymore. And slowly, I spoke faster. Then I wanted to try speaking with other people. I was scared. What if they laughed at me? What if I made mistakes? But I remembered what Mr. Lee said. I told myself, nobody is perfect. Even native speakers make mistakes. So I started small. I said hello to a classmate in English. I asked, "How are you today?" They looked surprised, but they smiled and answered. That made me happy. Every day, I tried to talk to someone in English, just 1 or 2 sentences. What time is the class? Or do you like music? I didn't worry about making mistakes. I just tried. After a while, I noticed something important. The more I spoke, the easier it became. I also listened to a lot of English. I watched movies and cartoons, listened to songs, and played English podcasts when I walked to school. I tried to copy the way native speakers talked. I repeated their sentences. Sometimes, I paused the video and said the lines out loud. It was fun. I felt like an actor practicing for a role. Then something amazing happened. One day, I was sitting in a coffee shop. A tourist came in and looked confused. He asked, "Can you help me find the train station?" Without thinking, I answered in English. "Yes, go straight, then turn left. It's near the big supermarket." The tourist smiled and said, "Thank you so much." I smiled back and said, "You're welcome." After he left, I sat quietly for a moment. I realized something very big. I had just spoken English with a real person, and I didn't feel nervous. I didn't freeze or forget words. I just spoke. That moment gave me so much confidence. I finally believed that I could do it. From that day on, I decided to speak English every day, no matter what. It became a part of my life, like brushing my teeth or eating breakfast. I didn't think too much about it. I just spoke. I knew that mistakes were normal and practice was the key. And I was ready to keep going. After speaking English every day for many weeks, I felt stronger and more confident. I was not afraid of speaking anymore. I even started to enjoy it. Every time I talked in English, I smiled. I felt like I was growing, step by step. But I didn't know that something very exciting and a little scary was coming. One morning, our college teacher made an announcement. "We will have an English speech competition next month," he said. "The topic is my biggest learning experience." When I heard that, my heart started beating fast. An English speech in front of many people. I didn't know what to do. A big part of me was nervous. What if I forget my words? I thought. What if people laugh? I was scared. But then I remembered how far I had come. I had been speaking English every single day. I helped a tourist. I talked with my friends. I could do this. So I made a brave decision. I raised my hand and said, "Sir, I want to join the competition." My teacher smiled. "Good, Daniel, I'm happy you want to try." From that day, I started preparing for my speech. I chose to talk about my journey of learning English. I stood in front of my mirror, just like before, and practiced every day. I said the speech again and again. Hello, everyone. My name is Daniel. Today, I want to talk about something special, how I learned to speak English. I recorded myself with my phone and listened to my voice. Sometimes I made mistakes. Sometimes I forgot words, but I didn't give up. I fixed the problems and tried again. I also asked my friend Emily to listen to me and give advice. She said, "Daniel, you sound great, just relax and smile." The day of the speech competition arrived. I wore my best shirt and stood backstage, waiting for my turn. I could feel my hands shaking. My heart was beating fast. What if I forget everything? I asked myself. But then I remembered what I had told myself many times before. Talking in English is easy. Just speak. Finally, it was my turn. I walked onto the stage. The lights were bright and many students were sitting in front of me. I took a deep breath and began. Hello, everyone. My name is Daniel. Today, I want to share my biggest learning experience with you. A year ago, I was afraid to speak English. I thought I needed perfect grammar and big words, but I was wrong. I learned that the best way to speak English is to speak it. Every day, I talked to myself. I talked to friends. I talked to strangers. And slowly, speaking became easy. Today, I am here in front of you, speaking English with a smile. As I spoke, I felt calm. I was not afraid. I was not just giving a speech, I was telling my story. And when I finished, the audience clapped. Some people stood up and cheered. My heart felt full. I had done it. After the competition, my English teacher walked up to me and said, "Daniel, your speech was wonderful. You spoke clearly and with feeling. Have you thought about helping other students speak English?" That idea made me excited. I had learned so much. Maybe I could help others too. So I started a small group in my college. I called it Let's Speak English. Every Friday afternoon, we met in the library. At first, only 4 students came, but we had fun. We played games in English, told simple stories, and talked about daily life. No one was allowed to laugh at mistakes. We all helped each other. One of the students, my friend Leo, was very shy at first. He could read and write well, but he was scared to speak. I remembered how I used to feel, so I told him, "Leo, it's okay to make mistakes. Just try." He nodded and began to speak slowly. My name is Leo. I want to learn English. We all clapped for him. After that day, he came every week and talked more and more. A few months later, he told me, Daniel, I spoke to a tourist yesterday in English. I felt so proud. That moment made me smile. I realized that helping others speak English was even more exciting than learning it myself. Our group grew bigger each week. Soon, we had 20 students. Everyone had their own story. Some were afraid, some were unsure, but all of them wanted to learn. One day, I got a message from my English teacher again. Daniel, he said, I want to invite you to a special event next week. Some foreign visitors are coming to our school. I think you can help guide them. I felt nervous again, but also excited. Yes, I said, I would love to. A few days later, the big event day arrived. I put on a clean shirt, brushed my hair, and walked to school with a smile. I was a little nervous, but I told myself again, talking in English is easy. Just be friendly and speak. At school, I met my English teacher. He smiled and said, Daniel, thank you for helping today. The visitors are students and teachers from Canada. Please be their guide and talk to them in English. When the visitors arrived, I walked up to them and said, Hello, welcome to our school. My name is Daniel. I will be your guide today. One of the visitors, a kind woman, smiled and said, Nice to meet you, Daniel. Your English is very clear. That made me feel happy and confident. We walked around the school. I showed them the classrooms, the library, and the garden. They asked many questions, and I answered them all in English. I even told a few small jokes, and they laughed. It felt so natural, like I had been doing this for years. One of the visitors, Mr. Johnson, was a professor from Canada. After the tour, he came to me and said, Daniel, you have a special gift. You speak clearly and help others feel comfortable. Have you ever thought about teaching English in the future? I was surprised. Teaching? I asked. He nodded. Yes, you already help your friends. Maybe one day you can help even more people. That night, I couldn't stop thinking about his words. Teaching English? It sounded like a big dream, but maybe it was possible. A week later, I had another idea. I wanted to help students from other schools too, not just my own, so I made a group online. I called it English Chat Room. Every evening at 7 p.m., we had video calls. We chose easy topics like my favorite food or what I did today. Everyone had to say at least a few sentences in English. At first, many students were shy. Some said, Daniel, I understand English, but I don't know how to speak. I always replied, don't worry, just start, say anything. We are all learning. There was one girl named Mia. She joined our group and sent me a message. She said, Daniel, I feel scared. When I speak, my heart beats fast and my mind goes blank. I understood how she felt, so I said, Mia, start small. Each morning, talk to yourself in English for 2 minutes. Say what you will do today. It can be simple, just do it every day. She agreed. 1 week later, she sent me a voice message. She said, Daniel, I did it. I talked to myself for 7 days. And yesterday, I answered a question in English during class. Her voice was full of joy. That moment made me feel proud, not of myself, but of her. I realized that my journey was helping others take their first steps too. As time passed, more and more students joined our online group. We had people from different cities and even different countries. Some were beginners, some were more advanced, but all of them wanted to speak better English. We talked, we laughed, we learned. One day, my English teacher called me again. Daniel, he said, our college wants to start a real English-speaking club. Will you be the leader? I was shocked. Me, the leader. Yes, he smiled. You already lead online meetings. Now it's time to bring that energy here. I said yes. The first meeting of our club was small, just 10 students, but we had fun. We played games like Guess the Word, told stories, and did simple role plays. We made rules, no judging, no fear, only speaking. Each week, more students came. Some had never spoken English before, but after a few sessions, they were speaking full sentences. I saw their confidence grow, just like mine had. My best friend Leo came to me after one meeting. He said, "Daniel, do you remember 1 year ago? You were afraid to say hello in English. Now look at you, you're helping so many people." I smiled. Yes, Leo, it all started with one small step. I just began talking. After a few months, our English club at school became very popular. We had many members now, more than 30 students came each week. We didn't just study English, we enjoyed using it. Some students told jokes, others shared personal stories. Sometimes we acted out small plays or practiced speaking for travel. One day, something very exciting happened. I got a phone call from a local radio station. A woman named Ms. Laura said, "Hello, Daniel. We heard about your English club and your online group. We think your story is inspiring. Would you like to come and do a radio interview?" I couldn't believe it. Me, on the radio. "Yes," she said kindly. "We want you to talk about how you learn to speak English and how you help others." I was nervous, but I knew this was a great chance. I said yes. A few days later, I went to the radio station. There were microphones and headphones and big chairs. Ms. Laura smiled at me and said, "Just speak like you are talking to a friend. Don't worry." She turned on the microphone and asked, "Daniel, can you tell us how you started your English journey?" I smiled and answered, "Yes, of course. 1 year ago, I was afraid to speak English. I waited for the perfect time. But then I learned that the only way to speak English is to speak it. I started talking to myself every day. I talked to friends. I joined conversations. I didn't worry about mistakes. I just spoke." She nodded. "That's great advice. What do you tell students who are afraid?" I replied, "I tell them this, don't wait, don't be scared. Start small. Say simple things like, 'I am hungry' or 'Today is sunny.' Just keep going. Speaking gets easier every time you try." The interview lasted 20 minutes. When it was over, Ms. Laura shook my hand and said, "Thank you, Daniel. I think many people will feel encouraged after listening to you." Later that week, the radio interview was played for the whole city. After that, many students from other schools sent me messages. Some said, "Daniel, I heard your interview. It gave me hope." Others said, "Now I want to join your club." One message was very special. It came from a teacher at another school. His name was Mr. Harris. He wrote, "Hello, Daniel. I'm an English teacher at Hillside High School. Many of my students feel afraid to speak English. Would you like to visit our school and talk to them?" I said yes immediately. The next week, I visited Hillside High. Mr. Harris met me at the school gate. He took me to a classroom where about 30 students were waiting. Some looked nervous, just like I used to be. I stood in front of them and said, "Hi, everyone, my name is Daniel. 1 year ago, I was just like you. I understood English but could not speak. I was scared. But then I started small, talking to myself, thinking in English and speaking every day. You can do it too." Then I smiled and said, "Now let's try together. Everyone say one sentence in English." The students looked at each other. At first, no one spoke, so I said, "I'll go first. My favorite food is noodles." Then one boy raised his hand. "My favorite food is pizza," he said shyly. We clapped for him. Then a girl said, I have a cat, her name is Lily. Soon everyone was speaking. Some said just one word. Some spoke full sentences. Some laughed, and that was okay. We were all learning. When the session ended, Mr. Harris shook my hand and said, Daniel, thank you. Today you showed them that speaking English is not scary. That evening, I sat on my bed and thought about my journey again. 1 year ago, I was too afraid to say a sentence, and now I was helping other schools. I felt proud, but also thankful. Speaking English had changed my life. After my visit to Hillside High School, more people started to contact me. Some were teachers, some were students, and some were parents. They all had one thing in common: they wanted help with speaking English. One day, I received a message from a journalist. Her name was Rachel, and she worked for the local TV news. She said, Hi Daniel, I watched your radio interview and read about your school visits. We want to make a news story about you. Would you like to be on TV? I was surprised again. Me, on television. Rachel said, Yes, many young people feel afraid to speak English. Your story can give them hope. I was a little nervous, but I agreed. 2 days later, I went to the TV studio. There were lights, cameras, and a big chair for me. Rachel sat across from me with a friendly smile. She began, Daniel, thank you for coming. Let's start from the beginning. Can you tell us how your journey started? I looked at the camera and said, Yes, of course. 1 year ago, I was too shy to speak English. I was always afraid of making mistakes, but then I decided to change. I began speaking to myself in the mirror every day. I started thinking in English. Slowly, I became more confident. Rachel asked, How do you help other students now? I replied, I run an English club at my college, and I also have an online group. We practice speaking every evening. I always tell students, speaking English is easy if you stop being afraid. Just talk. It doesn't have to be perfect. After the interview, many people sent me messages. One was from a man named Mr. Patel. He wrote, Daniel, I watched your interview with my son. He is 13 and very shy. After listening to you, he said, If Daniel can do it, I can too. Thank you for giving him hope. I read that message again and again. It made me emotional. I realized my story was not just helping local students, it was helping people I had never met. That's when a new idea came to my mind. I wanted to reach even more people, so I started a YouTube channel. I called it Speak Easy English with Daniel. In my first video, I told my story. I said, Hello, my name is Daniel. I was once afraid to speak English. But now I speak with confidence. I want to help you do the same. I also gave simple tips. Talk to yourself every day. Think in English. Don't be afraid of mistakes. I used easy words and spoke slowly. I wanted everyone, even beginners, to understand me. At first, only a few people watched the video. But after 1 week, many more started to come. People left kind comments like, Thank you, Daniel. Your voice is clear and easy to understand. I watched your video and practiced talking to myself. It works. Please make more videos. So I did. I made videos about how to talk in a restaurant, how to ask for help, and how to introduce yourself. I even made practice with me videos. I spoke, and the viewer repeated after me. The channel began to grow fast. After 2 months, I had followers from over 20 countries. Some students from Brazil, India, Egypt, and Vietnam sent me emails. They said, Daniel, we practice English with your videos every day. I was amazed. Then one school in another country contacted me. A teacher wrote, "Hello, Daniel. My students love your YouTube videos. We play them in class. Would you like to speak with them on a video call?" Of course, I said yes. When I joined the video call, I saw a classroom full of smiling faces. The students waved at me and said, "Hello, Daniel." I laughed and waved back. One student asked, "Is English hard?" I replied, "No, it is not hard. It only feels hard when we are afraid. But when we enjoy it and practice every day, it becomes fun." We talked for 30 minutes. The students asked questions. I answered them all. At the end, their teacher said, "Thank you, Daniel. You showed our students that they can speak English too." After that call, I sat quietly and smiled. My voice had reached people far away. My simple story, just a shy student learning to speak, was now helping people around the world. And it all began with a small step. I just started talking. As my YouTube channel grew, I received more and more messages. Many students said, "Daniel, I can speak English when I am alone, but when I talk to real people, I get nervous." Others said, "I understand your videos, but native speakers speak too fast." I thought about this problem for a long time. These learners were working hard. They watched videos and practiced at home. But when they spoke to real people, they still felt afraid. Then I had a new idea. What if we practice speaking English in real life, with real people? I called it the Real Life English Challenge. I made a new video and said, "Dear friends, every day go outside and talk to one person in English. You can talk to a shopkeeper, a tourist, or a waiter. Just say one sentence. Ask a question. Order food. Start small but speak." At first, many students were scared. One girl from Thailand wrote to me, "Daniel, I'm too shy. What if people laugh at me?" I replied, "People don't care about perfect English. They care about communication. Just try. You will see how kind people can be." Slowly, students started to try, and something amazing happened. A boy from Brazil sent me a video. He asked a foreign tourist for directions in English. A girl from Japan ordered coffee at a cafe using only English. A boy from Egypt had a full conversation with a traveler in his city. Students from many countries joined the challenge. They recorded short videos of their real-life practice and shared them online. They smiled, they laughed, and even when they made mistakes, they didn't stop. The Real Life English Challenge became popular. It was shared on social media. Teachers used it in their classes. Everyone wanted to try. Then one day, something truly special happened. I received an invitation to speak at a TEDx event. It said, "Dear Daniel, we would like you to share your story at TEDx. Your message is simple but powerful. Talking in English is easy. We believe your voice can inspire many more people." I felt shocked and excited. TEDx was a big stage, but I was ready. On the day of the event, I wore a clean white shirt and stood behind the red circle on the stage. The lights were bright. The room was full of people, and many more were watching online. I took a deep breath and began. "Hello, my dear friends. 1 year ago, I was afraid to speak English. I thought I needed perfect grammar, a big vocabulary, and many years of study. But then I learned something simple. If you want to speak English, just speak." That's how I started, talking to myself, thinking in English, helping others. And now I'm here to tell you, you can do it too. The audience clapped. I continued. English is not just a subject, it is a tool. It helps us meet new people, learn new things, and grow. You don't need to be perfect, you just need to be brave. Speak one sentence today. Speak two tomorrow. Keep going, enjoy the journey. When I finished my talk, people stood up and clapped. Some had tears in their eyes. One man came to me after and said, "Daniel, thank you. My daughter is afraid to speak English, but now she wants to try." I smiled and said, "Tell her this, talking in English is easy, just start." After TEDx, my message reached even more people. My YouTube channel grew. More schools invited me to speak. I started writing a small book for students who were afraid to speak English. I called it Start Talking, My English Story. But more than anything, I kept doing what I loved, talking to learners, helping them feel brave, and showing them that they could do it too. Now I still speak English every day. I teach, I guide, I listen. But I always remember how it all began, with fear, a mirror, and one simple sentence. Today, I woke up early. Final message. Dear friend, if you are reading this and still feel nervous about speaking English, I want to tell you something. You don't need to wait. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need a special teacher or big words. You just need to begin. Say one sentence, talk to yourself, talk to a friend, make mistakes, learn, try again. Because speaking English is not hard. Talking in English is easy, once you start. And if I can do it, so can you.
Hey, if you learned something new today, please give this video a like. Write your thoughts in the comments and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second and it really helps to create more English videos for you. Thank you. See you next time. Bye.